Hi, friends, and welcome to our latest episode of Keeping Up with the Jackrabbits. I'm Tyler Merriam, and one of our all-time favorites is with us, high jumper extraordinaire Mary Worth Jorgensen. Mary, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for asking and having me on today.
Well, I am delighted that you could join us. You know, you have that bucket list of people we need to get on the show, and Mary Worth was on the bucket list, but we couldn't have you on when I first wanted to because you were a little preoccupied at the moment. What's been going on?
Well, just a few changes in life here. We've moved down to Omaha, and my husband's busy in residency in the emergency department. And I got started with a new job over the past year. And then we also had some exciting news and have added a family member. So a little human has joined our household.
You delayed the biggest news for the end there. You kept putting it off, putting it off. So, congratulations, Mama. Tell us about the newest addition to the family.
Well, he is 2 weeks old as of yesterday. His name is Cooper James Jorgensen. He came healthy, and my husband and I are both healthy too, and we're pretty happy just staring at him all day long. So it's been great.
We going with Coop, Cooper, CJ.
We're going all of the above. We hope maybe one day he'll play some basketball. We can call him, Hoopster, Coopster, or something along those lines. And Coop has definitely been used, so we'll
Hoopster,
just have to see
Coopster.
what comes.
Hoopster, Coopster. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. Hey, let's go back in time a little bit. What was it about SDSU? Why did you end up a jackrabbit?
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of things just fell into place. You know, you go on a couple different visits and you get a different vibe from every location and the people you meet. And when I visited SDSU, I just had an amazing experience. It was, close to home yet far enough away. I met Coach St. John, who was my high jump coach throughout my time there, and just had a great relationship off the bat with him. And then was able to see that it was a facility and campus that was continually growing and developing and had lots of opportunities for anybody who attended.
Would you say that your success at SDSU, if there's one figure to put it on, would it be David?
I think he's a huge part of it. Yes. He got me there and encouraged me in every aspect of my training, but also, they keep a good eye on your academics and making sure you're successful in everything you're at school for in the first place, in addition to the athletics.
What was it about David? Because people know about Rod DeHaven. We all know Rod's stories. That's why I like to dig a little deeper. When you got guys like Eric Hanneberger or a guy like David St. John, what is it that makes him so special for you, a student athlete?
Yeah. I think he just immediately brings everybody in and tries to make the environment a good, friend environment, almost like a family when you're on a team and you're spending that much time together. He would host us at his house with his kids and his wife for a holiday meal, and just encourage basically camaraderie throughout the team. And he was always there to support you and always available if you ever needed anything. So I think just that, almost like a family friend environment is a huge thing that he contributed. And then he also just has a great sense of humor that is needed when you're in the midst of workouts and stressful times. So when he can add in some phrases like pin your ears back and get after it, as a jackrabbit, pinning your ears back can kind of relate. And so that was always entertaining to hear his phrases and encouragement and just get a good laugh in the midst of the trials.
Well, you've had so much success during your time in yellow and blue, all the different event championships, Summit League titles, going on to NCAAs. If you had to pick one event that stands out, and maybe it's because you won, maybe it's just because the experience. If I said you could do one of them over again, which one would it be?
I think it would be, oh gosh, that's really hard. Probably, the regional meet out in Oregon, just because being in Eugene, Oregon is an incredible experience, Track Town USA, to see just the support that the entire community has and the number of people that show up and their quality of facilities and everything that they um, do and love about track is pretty inspiring and keeps you motivated to keep working.
Okay, what made you want to get into healthcare?
Hmm. Well, I was always interested in, sciences and anatomy throughout high school and thought, well, maybe I'll end up being a teacher and can kind of involve myself in science that way. And then at SDSU, I got involved in the anatomy lab and ended up being on a teaching team and doing some extra time there. And so I realized I didn't really want to stop learning and just share what I knew. I wanted to continue learning myself. So talked with some people just to see what they were thinking because I knew med school wasn't something I wanted to commit myself to. 5 years at SDSU plus however many more seemed like a lot. So I looked into PA school and got very interested and haven't really ever looked back. It's been an amazing experience. I got set up so well at SDSU with all my prerequisites and the base knowledge that PA school went well. It wasn't enemy territory in Vermilion, but we've got to do what we've got to do to support South Dakota. So,
You brought up the anatomy, and I have to ask because I remember as a student having friends of mine who would go to that anatomy lab, and the stories they would tell, and some of them it turned them off. Hey, I can't, I got to go someplace else. But there were others like you; it really changed you in a way that you wanted to be more involved. What is it about that anatomy lab?
it's an interesting line probably between just the fascination of what truly is involved in the human body and what even enables you to do what you're doing on a daily basis. And so, the first sections you start off with are musculoskeletal, which is an easy relation for an athlete to think about, oh, those are the muscles that are sore every day, or the ones that we're targeting with certain lifts or practices. So just being able to see that and actually understand, what's all happening behind the scenes to let you move on a daily basis and function. And there's something about the folks you meet there too that just it's a interesting conversations. And I like memorization and all those sorts of things too, so that just adds to it.
How much too of a challenge was it? Because that's not an easy area to
Mm.
pursue for any student, particularly when you're a student athlete and you're essentially training 12 months a year because you've got multiple seasons. How did you juggle all of that?
Oh, well, I started drinking coffee during college, and that was encouraged by my husband. But also just the utilizing, we had study halls that were set up and making sure you actually got to those, and lots of time in the library or sitting at a table in the union with the other track folks and just making sure we all kind of encouraged each other to stay on top of our work because it allowed us to be there and do track, which we loved. So you had to kind of keep in touch with each part of life on campus in order to make it successful.
I love a secret to a nationally acclaimed high jumper is coffee. That's good to know.
Yes.
We got to the bottom of that. All right, but
Absolutely.
before we conclude this, we got to talk a little more about little Cooper over there.
Yeah.
What we're a couple weeks in,
Hmm.
so what have you learned about yourself during this process? Now that you're actually now that he's not just inside, he's outside, he's moving a
Right.
little. What have you learned?
Well, I learned that just like with school and track, practice makes perfect. So we're still working on that perfection. I doubt we'll ever get there, but just learning how to maneuver and hold him and be safe. And there's so many things to learn from just you know what size diaper do they need to wear to how to put their clothes on to sanitizing bottles and things. So um, he has been amazing, though. He's already passed his birth weight at 2 weeks, so he's ready to put on some muscle and maybe one day be at SDSU himself.
Well, time flies, and when we get to that point, you and I are going to talk and discuss how time has flown to get him to SDSU. So there's no doubt about that. But Mary, thank you so much. It's great to see you, and again, congratulations to you guys, and hope that little one just keeps on growing.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And it was great to see you and chat and be a part of SDSU again.
She is Mary Worth Jorgensen. I'm Tyler Merriam. Thanks for joining us on Keeping Up with the Jackrabbits.